Great teams are fast, flexible, and productive. They get out of their own way to inspire creative solutions to complex problems. They get stressed at times, but they know how to let it go. Great teams don't just happen by accident, they evolve on purpose, driven by leaders and teams committed to constant self-examination and corrective adjustments. One of my clients, Iyad Tarazi, CEO of Federated Wireless, strives to support this type of team culture. Iyad and his team have become one of the most successful recent startups in the wireless industry. Recently, I asked Iyad to identify the 4 most important practices behind the team's success. We will profile one of those practices each week over the next 4 weeks. Iyad presents a team development challenge and then shares the tool used to overcome that obstacle. This first week, Iyad discusses how the team used Stop at Nothing's 4D decision-making model to improve team alignment and focus. This is critical for any startup with very little time to waste on prolonged disagreements. Like many startups, Federated's leadership team is comprised of highly intelligent and experienced industry executives. Each comes from a successful past to create something groundbreaking. The stakes are high, and so are the egos, not because of any bad intentions. Everybody wants to do the right thing based on what they think will make the Federated dream a reality. This powerful confluence of strong will, intellect, and desire make decision-making discussions feel like swimming in peanut butter.
This is Iyad Tarazi. I'm the CEO of Federated Wireless. We've been building a company for the last 4 years, from about 2 people to about 60 people now. We've raised about $75 million. We're literally changing the industry. We needed an Airbnb model for wireless. Instead of everything costing billions and taking years, you now will have millions and millions of deployments for 4G and 5G networks that can be done at high speed at low cost. Yeah, the biggest challenge for us was we couldn't finish a conversation. We would start conversations and we would go on, and we couldn't get, even when we had agreement in the room on a basic concept, we would go and do it because fundamentally we came at it from different places. So as long as your entrenched belief system is different, you will never arrive at agreement, even if you think you had agreement in the room. So we had to come up with a very structured way of having discussions, which we call the Terkel D Model, which was very essential for us, because until we were able to get agreements on discussions, we couldn't get to agreements on concepts. So we had to be very disciplined in discussing and be able to actually hear each other. Before that, we would shut down before we hear each other, because we would jump to our concepts and just close ourselves. So the first thing is respect the discussion, get all the discussion items on the table without any dialogue first. Just what is it we're talking about? We're talking about what product we want to build. And then we go through a dialogue that was also structured, where people would argue their case one by one until we actually respected and recognized that we have different points of view, recognized that we have different belief structures, recognize that we don't all believe the same thing and may not arrive at the same decision. And then finally we would make a decision in a very structured way that respects everyone. But it does start with breaking the barriers of communications, creating self-awareness that you probably are, disrupting the room every time you put your opinion out there, and really break very deeply held beliefs with other people and take the time to do it in a proper way. And we've used the program at Stop at Nothing. It was the foundation for all of it, because it allowed us to have the next step in self-actualization, self-realization. Who are we? Where did we come from? Why we disagree? Why we agree when we agree? What behaviors do we do that disrupt the team? Without that basics of understanding who we are, what do we do? What do we create for each other? How do we congeal towards a common concept? You couldn't have the discussion to begin with. I mean, the most powerful part of the model is it created a way for one of us to raise their hand and say, I'm not there. What you just described disrupts my belief system. You know, a good example, we were talking about the operational testing processes the other day, and we were just about to close on a decision. And the lead for engineering raised their hand and said, I think we need to go back and apply the Terkel D model. for all of us in the room that's gone through this, we immediately understood that this touches on a belief system that he has, and he's not on board. In the old days, we wouldn't have known. We'd have moved on. It'd be 2-3 weeks down the road, at least, before things blew up again. And we would be in a room talking about how I never believed it would work to begin with. And we are back into cleanup mode.
Download the 4D model and use as a practical tool to use within your team or organization. Next week, we are going to learn about Iyad and the team's unique way of keeping fear from harming their efforts to succeed within an unsettling startup environment.